Welcome to this week's episode of the Dope Creator Podcast. I'm your host, Diamond, and here we get real with your favorite creators and CEOs. We have conversations that will challenge you, motivate you, educate you, and ultimately remind you how dope you are. So, today, we are joined by my bestie. Again, season 2. Okay, part 2. And a lot has happened since he was originally here. So if you're like, who is this? Go listen to the first episode. Okay, so he was a pilot episode, and now he is the pilot episode again in season 2. He might just be a repeat guest in season, like episode 1 of each season. We'll just see what happens. I don't know.
We shall see.
So, fun fact, actually, we were supposed to start this podcast together, but then he was like, "Go be great," and I was like, "Oh shit!" And here we are, being great. So.
Period.
Just look, okay, so just meet my inspiration, my motivation, Marky Mark. Introduce yourself. Who are you? Oh.
Hi, my name is Mark, and I am Diamond's best friend. We are besties. I am a creative as well. I am an art director in the style and beauty industries. I just have a love for fashion. I have a love for style. Beautiful things. I love working with beautiful people, and collaboration. That's just what I love to do.
There it is. And today we're going to get into the details of what type of collaboration does Mark do. We're going to also talk about fashion, style, how that just impacts the way you show up in life. And we're going to get into some little tea. So
a little tea.
Just a little bit. Maybe like not piping hot, but like warm, you know?
It's still hot.
You think it's okay, it's
still hot.
Still hot. So first and foremost, before we get into like the real good stuff, because all of this is good. Before we get into the real good stuff, we're gonna start off this episode with a quote that you actually sent to me. And so it says, "You got to know how dope you are without a validation, a congratulations, or a celebration." I have decided to like basically base this podcast around this quote. So what does this quote mean to you?
Well, it's layered. I would definitely say that, to just be straightforward, I believe that anyone who truly wants to be confident in who they are and truly wants to actually stand behind what they do, they have to be willing to know that what they're doing is great without anyone else having to tell them so. I feel like, especially a lot of us creatives, we can rely heavily on what other people think or what other people say. And I think that can be to our detriment. I know that oftentimes we work with clients and we have to find a harmony of, definitely still applying like our aesthetic or our style, and then finding a way to mold that, adjust it to fit whatever, is on the brief. However, it's like a lot of us, we still have to find a way to just know that for ourselves, that what we're doing is good for us. There have been many times where it's like I did things that were really great, and when I would share about it, there was no applause. There was no like, "Oh, great job." And I think a lot of the times it was just people just didn't understand the magnitude to what I had done. People didn't understand the magnitude to what I had just accomplished. And for me in the moment, like, back then, it's like I felt a little sad. I was like, "Oh, dang, maybe it's really not all that. I guess it's not that big of a deal." However, it's just like, I needed to understand for myself and kind of like go through those experiences of like, no, Mark, what you did was really great. Not everyone is going to understand it. Not everyone is going to care. And to be honest, there's going to be people who they hate on that. Either they hate on it or they just don't like it. And to be quite honest, that's good, because that just helped me like better find like who my tribe was, and like who are the people too that like I go to for feedback, who are the people that I go to for mentorship, who are the kinds of people that I want to surround myself with in a room. And that's not me saying like, "Oh, I only want to be around people that validate me." However, let's be honest though, it's like validation is still healthy. we can
Yeah.
still receive it. However, it's like, let's have it be secondary to our own validation.
Yes, I love that. Validating yourself before you seek validation from others. Surrounding yourself with the right people who will not put you down. Like, yes, you want, praise. Yes, you want recognition. Yes, you want people to be like, yes, what you did is dope. And I love that.
Yeah.
But also, you don't want to just base your entire life, your entire work off of that. Because if you do, you're going to be disappointed. Because, like you said, not everyone's going to understand. Not everyone is going to cheer you on because we got some, low key haters, low key
Yeah.
and high key haters. And when I tell you the haters are the loudest, okay? And sometimes we let the haters, basically, we let them overpower the people who actually understand and who cheer us on. And we also sometimes let their voice and what they say overpower our own voices when we already know that we're fucking amazing at
Yeah.
what we do,
Yeah.
And so,
Sometimes it takes just that one negative comment to bring you down. And it's just
to bring
one.
you down. It's just one.
One
It's like,
one
why
little
is it
thing
that one?
out of a sea of like maybe just a sea of like, praise or applause, you did great, and then one little thing, it's like can send you in a downward spiral. And I think that may happen for a lot of us because it's like we want everyone to like love and enjoy what we had done. And the lesson in that, especially for me, like I grew up as a people pleaser, and it's like for me it's like going through those experiences and having had been around people like that. I mean, not just like individuals, but like working at specific companies as well. It's like I had to learn not everyone is for me. Not every project is for me. Not every client is for me. Not every person who I thought was my friend actually is for me.
Oof.
And that's great. 'Cause guess what? It's research. It's
Yeah.
all research. It's just information. And I think it's like I had to learn for myself is like how to take things less personally. So that like when things like that did happen, I was like, okay, this isn't this now is not really so much disappointing. This is it's revealing. And that's great. I would much rather have that, than feel like I need to try to appease or like force myself to be in rooms or situations that are not for me.
And that's okay. That's
Mhm.
okay. Not every room is for you. You don't need to be in every room because some of those rooms are full of oppressors, are full of
Mhm.
hateful people, and you don't want to surround yourself around that energy because if you
Mhm.
do, you're going to end up internalizing that and basically damn near giving up on your dreams or just like, yeah, writing it all off. And we don't have time to give up on our own dreams just to elevate someone else's. So, yeah. And you also said that you grew up being a people pleaser. So, tell us a little bit more about that and kind of just like also leading up, like how you grew up, kind of like your background, and then how you got to where you are today. Because people who don't know you, but I know you, but like they
Yeah.
don't know you.
Yeah. It's like that video of Megan uh, when she was just like, so what's y'all's trauma?
Basically, oh my gosh, I love that. That's gonna be my question all the time, every now from now on. What's your trauma, and how did
That
you
part.
use that trauma to be amazing?
That part. But it's just the way that she said it too. I'm just like vibes felt. Um I mean, I would definitely say that it stemmed from me having to grow up really fast. I come from a background where finances were always a problem. Always there was always something going on. There was always something to worry about. And I'm the eldest of two. I have a younger sister. She's about 7 years younger than me. She's my mini me. I love her to death.
Love him too.
Um,
Love you too, boo.
right? um, but it's like, I had to take care of her. My parents, they worked really hard. They hustled to, provide for us, to keep a roof over our head. And oftentimes they were not able to be around to tend to us as they would have liked. And so for me, it's like I had to learn how to cook. I had to learn how to clean. how to wash clothes. I had to learn how to do my sister's hair. I had to, learn how to dress her as well. And it's like, as a kid, it's like when I'm operating in those situations, it's like it's out of necessity. It's out of survival. I have to do this. I have to do this. And being that, younger child who had to grow up quick, there was a lot of pressure on me too. There were a lot of eyes that were on me. I tended to be the one that ended up being like the role model in class at school. I ended up being the role model in Bible study at church. And while I look back at that, I'm just like, I mean, I'm not gonna put myself down and be like, that was for nothing. It's like I became a role model because just the way that I moved and the way that I operated, it's like people had selected me to be in those situations as a way for others to find inspiration in. And it's like I have to give myself credit for that. It's like at a young age, it's like that's a wonderful thing. And I think at the time it's like I didn't really fully understand that. I was like, I have to keep moving. I have to keep going. And so whenever I would fail, or it's like, I would not do like quote unquote my best, I felt like a letdown. I felt like I was disappointing other people. I felt like, because all of these eyes, I felt like because all these eyes were on me, that I just was, now this failure, and I was disappointing everyone, and shame on me, blah, 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 all of that stuff. And I mean, I will be honest too, there were people that did shame me. There were people that were not kind to me. I mean, I'm a child. So it's like, I also have to remember that a lot of those situations too were wildly inappropriate. They did not need to happen. However, they did. And it's like my younger me was just doing everything that he could to get by and to move forward. So it's like I look back and it's just like, I thank my younger self, like all of my former versions of myself, because I'm just like, dang, like we got through a lot. It's like we didn't understand what was happening in the situation. It's like now that we have come into the being that I am, it's like I can look back and be like, wow, it's like I was in that situation, and that was a really tough situation. And I'm really grateful that I got through it the way that I did and was able to grow from that. And then come to the point where I'm at now, where it's like people pleasing is unnecessary. It's just it's completely unnecessary. And I think it's like being a creative person, being a caring and a creative person at the same time. I'm like, okay, what's the harmony here? And I say harmony because it's like I feel like before I always tried to find balance with things, but I was just like, I'm trying to give equal percentage of energy here, 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 and here. And it's just like, I can't do that. Eventually something was like going to fall through the cracks, and it did. And so it's like, I started, maybe like a few years ago, like trying to figure out like, okay, how can I find harmony instead of like, giving a little here, giving a little there, wherever it's warranted. And I feel like that's really helped me just come to a place where I feel so much better about saying no.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
Or just saying, thank you so much for considering me for this opportunity. I'm going to have to respectfully decline. And being able to share about that with people confidently, in a straightforward way, still kind, but in a way where it's like just understanding it's like this has to serve me too. This has to go both ways. It has to be a mutual benefit.
Yes. Oh my gosh. It has to go. It has to. There's so much in that, but we're gonna be like here for 3 hours if I go.
I spewed. There's my trauma, by the way.
I miss you guys. You're welcome. But yes, like reciprocating, having those relationships where you are equally getting something beneficial.
Right.
Like, honestly, our friendship would not work if I was the only one giving you something, or if you were the only one giving me something, right? But because we both give each other something, whether that's like value or sass or just
Period.
like, hey bitch, you need to get it like together. Like there is something about our friendship that I will forever treasure. And like my favorite thing about our relationship is the fact that when we both are feeling down and feeling like trash, I won't say like vulgar words, but we both feeling like trash, like we try to lift each other up even though we're both falling apart, right? Or
Right.
even if we both fall off the earth for like literal months, which just happened recently. We literally fell off the face of the earth and we came back. We're like, hey bitch, I miss you. What's going on? Like, what's happening? Let's catch up. And like, that's the thing that I love about our friendship, that like, even regardless, like even if we don't talk for a while, we can still come back and be like, hey, I'm still here for you. And then we're both doing our own thing, both killing it. And you are killing. Okay. So wait. So if you have not listened to the first episode of season 1, episode 1, go for it. Like, listen to this is the first episode, and then come back to this one, or at least remember this one, because he's gone through some major changes and shifts in his life since season 1, episode 1, and I have too. And which literally, by the way, aired a year ago as we're recording. This aired a year ago. Season 1, like aired a year ago.
It did.
Yes. It's crazy. That is crazy.
I'm flew.
So, oh my goodness. Oh my gosh.
I'm so proud.
Oh, look at the growth.
Come on.
So, oh my gosh. But you have literally gone through changes that have allowed you to truly, fully pursue your dreams. So,
yes.
What were those changes and how are they shaping you to become the dope creator you're meant to be and is? Okay.
Period. Wow. I can't remember exactly how much information I gave in the last episode, but I do know that it was around the time that I was hired as a digital art director at a local publication here in Dallas. I was super excited. You know, it's like I was coming from a tech company, which I had spent my time with. Overall, the company had taught me a lot. The tech company had taught me a lot. I grew a lot with them, and it was very fulfilling to be able to work at a place that was wanting to grow with me. The reason why I left was because there just wasn't much more that I could provide. And I mean, there was a little bit of just like internal conflict that was not for me, and so I chose to step away. I had the opportunity at the magazine come up, and they approached me. They approached my agent. We went through a whole like interview process. I had it in the bag. I mean, their editor-in-chief had like reached out to me and was like, "We've never interviewed someone who was such a slam dunk for a role before," you know. And I was just like, those are big words. Those are very big words to come from someone who has worked at this publication for decades. And so I felt like I was stepping into something that was just going to be just like ultimate. You know, I was so excited, ready to go. And it's like I'd been wanting to step into an art direction position as well. It's like I had been, you know, years before, it's like spending a lot of time working as a designer. So I have a lot of experience in digital design, have a lot of experience in print design as well. And it's like I have been, you know, on the side as well, it's like pursuing other opportunities in photography, in video, in motion design, collaborating with full teams, like photo shoot set teams or like video set teams, and just like building my skill set in direction. And so I had, you know, been wanting to come back into editorial to be able to actually apply all of those skills that I had learned. And so, you know, I started this job and I was there for about a month and then, you know, realized this is a mess. This place, there's this structure, the people that work here. I mean, it's like, I just kind of like to phrase those, they're not the types of people that I would approach on the street. Which it's like, you know, I want it. I just being like the open, caring person that I am, it's like I observe and I take my time to get to know people. And it was not long after that I was just like, wow,
Mm-hmm.
these are not my people. And that's okay. It's just that the way that communication was handled, the way that there was not an openness to ideas, as what they had sold me on. So it's like, they had sold me on a lot of things. And I feel like it was just a way to get me through the door. I very much saw it later on, like not too long after, like as a bit of a token hire. And there was a lot of pushback on the process that I was bringing to the company, which was asked for. It's
Right.
like, and it's like, if it's something that's not asked for, it's like, I'll introduce it. And if it's not
Mm-hmm.
something that is needed, then okay, that's fine. It's like, it's been presented, it's still there on the table. We can come back to it if at any point. However, it's like, I was brought in specifically to bring
Mm-hmm.
process, because it's like, I've had all this experience at these other agencies and
Mm-hmm.
companies, as well as at a major fashion magazine in New York. And that is what
Indeed.
they were looking for,
Mm-hmm.
right? And period, it's just like, and it's like, again, it's like taking a step back and just being like, I've done a lot of work and I really
Mm-hmm.
have to give myself my own flowers. I do. I really have
Yes.
to do that. No one else is going to do that for me but myself, you
Mm-hmm.
know? And so it's like, there, as time went on, it just went more and more downhill. Me being the type of person that I am, it's like, I'm willing to find ways to make things work. I'm willing to find ways to, learn more about the environment that I'm in, and just be like, okay, how do things here work? Because it's like,
Mm-hmm.
I see the potential, I see the opportunities that really could come out of this, and so I'm happy and looking forward to just being a part of that. But it's just like nothing ever changed. It's like really, really what it came down to was like them needing me to fall into place.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, even aside from that, it's just like the racism and the homophobia that I experienced to my face
Mm-hmm.
from, not just people who were, I guess I would say it's like, speaking from a hierarchical standpoint, not just people who were like more like mid-level, but also people who are at a high level, like editor status. It's like things that you just do not say, that are just wildly inappropriate. It's like something like that is said at a magazine outside of Texas, especially like a major market, like in especially now, it's like back in the day, people got away with a lot of things in major markets, but it's like these days, it's like, I'm really happy that people such as ourselves who have moved into these like major magazines or companies have spoken up and are like, you say things like this, you're fired, you're gone immediately, because there needs to be a culture of respect. And there was not a culture of respect, especially towards people of color that walk the halls. And me being someone that I am, it's like, I am vocal, respectfully. And whenever I verbalized, I learned that, okay, this is going to be used as ammo. And so, to just kind of like bring this all to a conclusion, it's just like, it really was not a place that was going to let me be me. It was not a place that was going to accept me to be myself. And one thing, like, because I had explained about this to a mentor who is a creative director in New York, they had said, it's like, it's not your job to fit in anywhere, it's their job to welcome you. And I was not welcomed in this environment. And so it's like, hearing those words, I'm just like, okay, I cannot be gaslit about this place. I cannot be gaslit about this situation. And I was still willing to try to figure it out. And I think like going through all of that really taught me to just say no earlier. And it's like, when like, trust your intuition, listen to your intuition. If you feel that something is just not right, then most definitely, probably it is not. And you need to listen to yourself. You
Yeah.
need to listen to whatever the message that is being told to you. Don't ignore it. Don't feel like you have to, adjust or whatever. It's like, some places, they really just are not going to let you shine. And you need to leave. You
Yeah.
need to leave. And it's like this was a place where I had just learned that it was never going to change. However, it's like I was still of the mindset of like I need income, I need pay, I have to find I need a job. And I was like, we'll figure it out. We can adjust all of blah 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 blah. I went on a trip to New York for a conference. I'm a part of a professional design organization in New York.
Yeah, you are.
Period. Specifically revolving around editorial design. I'm an editorial creative. And so they always have an annual event. And so I had gone the day after I came back from that trip. I was blindsided with a meeting where I was pulled in. I was told that I was being let go from the company and that they were restructuring my team. It wasn't anything that it wasn't anything that I was expecting. Was I surprised? No, because it followed suit with the behavior in just like since I had come in. And I had never had this happen to me. It's like, I mean, they had me, like, they gave me an used box and made me pack all my things in the box and then escorted me downstairs. I'm just like, did I commit a crime?
Right.
It was wild. I'd never experienced something like that before. And, it was hurtful. It was. It was very hurtful. It put me in a very fragile state. I let myself I let myself be mad. I let myself be mad, I let myself be sad, I cried about it. I had called my friends, called family about it and just like let them know. And it's like when other industry people had found out about what had happened and in detail, it's just like they first of all were appalled. It's like everyone is just like, egregious, absolutely an egregious action. And what is, to me, it's like other comments too about it were just like not surprised that they would do that. And then I had learned that they had done the exact same thing to other Black employees prior to me. The exact same thing. And so I was just like, wow, this really is a place that shows themselves to the world as, this really big, shiny place to be in. It's like when you get in, it's like, that's disappointing. That's disappointing. Both disappointing and revealing. And what I will say, because it's like, I would like to not give them that much more of a cameo, but I will say that experience did for me was that it really showed me what I do not want. It really showed me what I do not enjoy. It really showed me the kinds of people that I am not looking to collaborate with, that I'm not looking to ever cast or bring onto a set. And, some people may think like, oh, that may be a little gatekeepy, or oh, that may be a little unhealed. And it's just like, well, when you are making your own decisions, you have to want to make sure that the people that you are working with, you enjoy. It's like, I'm not going to bring someone on my set who I don't like or who I don't enjoy. Because you want to know why? It's like the people I'm bringing onto my set, that's my community. Those are my people. And it's like, if one rotten person comes in, it's like, they're going to ruin the vibe for everybody.
Yeah.
And we have things to do.
Look,
we have things to do.
Things to do.
We have things to do. And it's just like, I would much rather only bring in people who I know are going to fit the vibe. And it's like working with good people. It's like, I just don't think that there's anything better than that. It's like being able to do beautiful work with beautiful people. And it's like when I say that, it's like I'm referring to people who have, a community-centered mindset. It's like they want to work with other good people. And it's as simple as that. And then it's like, also, that experience pushed me to put myself out there, because I'm just like, I have been doing this high level work for all these places. I can definitely do it for myself as my own
Period.
business. Period.
Period. Period. Oh,
Wait,
I
maybe
love it.
we'll do the hearts.
Does it? Oh, for you. That's sad.
Well, here, I'll do hearts for you. There we go.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. That is so funny. But oh my goodness, and you are doing your own thing now. Like I remember you telling me this story, and I was shook because I'm like, you were so excited for this role, and it sucks that we get so excited when we work for a company that we think is our dream company, or at least that's going to be like the next step to get to our dreams, and then we get there and we realize what was on the outside is not what's really on the inside.
Yeah.
And that sucks that they've done that to other Black folks, right? And they try to make themselves seem like this super diverse and company who's super inclusive when they're not. And they use you as a token. And then they removed you. But I bet you they are, reaping the benefits of that. Bet you they're seeing like now that we messed up. But it doesn't matter because now Mark Baker-Sanchez is an S-Corps. Okay. Yeah, I probably should let you say that, but I was really excited. But it's like I too have had my fair experience, my one experience, my only experience. I don't need no more experiences of toxic work environment that was mentally, financially, and physically draining. And it was in a luxury retailer like area, right? Retailer space, luxury space, right? And then you were in this kind of like luxury type of environment as well, because that's kind of what
It was their audience.
kind of like the
Yeah,
audience.
yeah, they wanted to appeal to wealthy people.
Yes, exactly. And so it's funny that in both cases everything is not what it seems on the inside. And even with all of that BS that you had to go through and to deal with, you made some connections out of that, Ray. You got some experience out of that. And ultimately you use that to start your own thing, or to at least go after it full time, which I'm super proud of. When I first met you and you were talking about your dreams and talking about like what you wanted to do, that you wanted to be do creative design full time, and that we would get there at some point. We were both just talking like, we'll be there, we'll get there. And I just love that about us. We're like, yes, we're gonna get there, we're gonna be millionaires, like we're gonna do this, right?
Yeah.
And here we are a year, 2 years later, and you're doing the thing, right?
Period.
And so with that, with doing your own thing comes with a price, right?
Yeah.
Comes with a price. And so let's talk about the importance of creators, especially Black creators, charging the value they offer, and or both at some point raising their prices. Now there's a major pay gap between Black creators, and specifically Black creators and white creators. There's a 35% pay gap.
Right.
And we also have a tendency to undercharge, whether that's because of imposter syndrome, society, or both, or whatever other factors are in that. So let's talk about it. The importance of charging your price, because you come at a price, right? And so how do you go about making sure that you're charging what, like, the value that you offer, and sticking to that?
Yeah. One thing that I always tell myself when I'm putting out an invoice or putting an estimate together is I'm like, this is business.
This is business.
This is business. It's nothing personal. This is what it costs for me to do the high level work that I do, because I'm not just sitting down and designing something. I'm not just sitting down and putting a stylescape together for a photo shoot. I'm not just sitting down and, looking through modeling agencies, faces to bring together like some options for casting. Those are not just things that I'm doing. It's like I've had to recognize for myself that there's a level of taste that I provide. There is a level of service that I provide that others do not. There is a lot of value that I am bringing to the table that is not just in whatever tangible or digital assets that I submit to a client. Because it's like the work that I'm giving to them is going to scale. The work that I'm giving to them is going to provide them a lot of value, given that they use it properly, given that they actually take the work that was done and promote it in a way that it's going to maximize profit for them, or going to whatever the KPIs are, whatever the brief is. It's like the work that's given, there's so much strategy, there's so much care, attention, and intention that goes into my work that I bill for that. Why would I only bill for just the product? Because I'm not just giving a product. It's like I'm providing a lot of value. And at the end of the day, I also have bills to pay. And then aside from that, I want to have a lifestyle as well. I deserve to have a lifestyle. I deserve to not just make a living, but I also deserve to live at the same time. And it's like working in this industry specifically, like in style, beauty, luxury, interior design, it's like a majority of the space is high level or high end. And so people who are wanting to have that look, well, I say there's a price there's a price tag that's attached to that. It's like you don't, it's like why would you expect to walk into Dries Van Noten and grab an embroidered coat and think that you're going to be able to walk out of there, for $100? It's like so much craft, so much thought went into creating that garment. So much time and attention went into the embroidery, into the design of the embroidery. And then it's like you're looking at fabric as well. And then on top of that, it's like there is a lifestyle attached to the brand name as well. So it's like you're not just paying for a garment, you're paying for that lifestyle that's attached to it as well. There's a persona that can be attached to that. And so it's like with the work that I'm putting out, it's like I have allowed myself, and I say allowed because it's like I feel before the imposter syndrome was not allowing me to be able to start putting out invoices that reflected the level of work and care that I put into my projects. And then also understanding that, yes, there is major pay gaps between what white people make and what Black people make. I mean, it's like, especially when you look at the entertainment industry, when you look at the pay gap between actors, like actors that are just, that have been on the scene and are killing it, that are crushing it, and still get paid less and are tired, sick and tired of having to prove their value, sick and tired of having to explain, that this is why they deserve to make this much. It's like their work speaks for itself. And that's another thing too, that I've had to just let myself have. Let my work speak for itself. Period. And if someone is not able to meet me at the price, well, thank you for your time. I would love to revisit this down the line when you are ready to proceed with another conversation. And I will also say on top of that, there are situations where we can be flexible. And I feel like especially when we are working as independents or like as our own businesses, it's like there are certain situations where I think it's totally fine and totally okay to adjust or to be flexible, especially if it's something that you just are absolutely like really, really wanting to do. It's like, don't sell yourself out. I mean, you still needs to serve both ways, still needs to serve. However, it's like, it's still okay to adjust. but only in areas where it's like it's actually going to be worth it for you. And it's like you understand that return of investment.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
that most definitely has to be part of the equation. It's like we're not out here doing free work. We're not out
No,
here
we're
we're not
not.
out here, you know, testing all the time. It's just like you don't want to be known as the cheap person.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like that's really hard to get out of. That can be really hard to get out of. So it's like if that number makes you uncomfortable, most likely you might need to put it out.
You spend. It's like, oh wow, that's crazy. Because as I'm rethinking like my pricing, do I want to like lower it for now just to get back off the ground, or do I want to keep it, or do I want to increase it? I'm like, either way, it's like me thinking about lowering it makes me more comfortable, but keeping it where it's at, it's like I feel like, oof, I don't know, and then increasing it, I'm like, oh wait, hold on, like I can't do that yet. And so it really is like what makes you the most uncomfortable is probably what you should do, because we're not living a life of comfort. We live a life of comfort, we're not going to get where we want to go. We're going to be constant. Like we're not going to grow.
Yeah.
And I refuse to be in a place where I am not growing. So you are,
Right.
you're talking to me. But there was a word that you said earlier. You said intention.
Mm-hmm.
Everything that we must do has to be with intention. Just don't be doing stuff and and then you figure like wondering why things haven't worked out or why it didn't come out right. Right.
Right.
Doing things with intention. And that's kind of my word for the
Yeah.
year or for my life. Is being intentional with regardless of what I do, whether it's with business, whether it's with work, whether
Right.
it's with being intentional with what I'm eating or what I'm cooking,
Right.
or being intentional with how many times I work out, or just being intentional with my time and who I give my time to. And then being intentional with my style.
Period.
And so in order to fully show up as not the creator, but the creator,
Mm-hmm.
the dope creator, excuse me, one must intentionally dress the part.
Mm-hmm.
Intentionally. Don't just be throwing shit on. Intentionally dressing the part. And
Mm-hmm.
so you, Mark, this is like looking at just the fit right now, just the shirt, just the earrings. You've got impeccable, just chef's kiss style, right?
Oh, thank you.
So it's
Coming from the style queen herself, that is
oh,
an honor.
don't do it. Don't play with me. Because let's talk about it. Hold on. Because like anytime we're out together, like we're always getting compliments about how good we look.
Always.
Always. Even just recently when I was there, I felt like a dumpster. I even told you that, Jay. I was like, I feel like trash and I'm dressing. I feel like trash, but like, no, what did I say? I was like, I'm dressing. I was thinking, I think I started looking like trash today. And you were like, I think it's
You
more of a
said something along
feeling.
those lines, right? And then you put that coat on, and I was just like,
What are you talking about?
I'm like, look in the mirror.
Like, what are you talking about? You're like, I think it's just more of a feeling for us, and we don't
Uh-huh.
actually go outside looking like trash because we don't. You will never catch me outside looking like trash. I might feel like trash, and I might want to eat myself out a window at some time, but I will not look like how I feel. Okay. And
Period. And you know
so,
what's funny? I didn't tell you this, but it's like one of my friends who also lives in my area. She was texting me. She texted me later on Instagram, and because that was when we had ran into Tremaine, and she had said that because she ran into him too, so they were hanging out, and she messaged me on Instagram later and was like, "Hey, I saw you and your friend walking across the street." She said like she we were like too far down the street, but she's like I could tell it was you guys because of those fabulous coats.
that is hilarious. See, even look, even people know that we're in the vicinity because you can see, you cannot miss us. We cannot miss us. Okay, I mean, even separately, you can't miss us. When you out in them streets, they see you, Mark. Whether or not they want to admit it, they see you. Okay, and they see me too, whether or not they want to.
Period.
Okay, and then together, oh,
Listen.
don't, they can't, okay. How did you, so going into that, and clearly people are noticing and recognizing, so how did you find the style that you love and that truly represents you and your personal brand, overall, because
Right.
as we both know, this shit does not happen overnight. It comes with
No.
intention. It comes with testing. It comes with figuring it out. So
Right.
tell
Right.
us.
I definitely would say that I needed to come into myself
Oh.
more. I had to. I had
Mm-hmm.
to. It's
Mm-hmm.
like I would not dress the way that I dress. I would not wear what I wear. I wouldn't be wearing these earrings if
Mm-hmm.
I was not daring enough to be me.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and it takes a lot of daring to be me.
Yeah.
Period. It just does. And I did a lot of soul searching for myself. It's like I really had to just take time to figure out who is Mark now and who does Mark aspire to be, you
Mm-hmm.
know? And going back to the word intention, it's like I became very intentional about what I was looking at for inspiration. I became very intentional about the things that I was watching and became very intentional about the magazines that I was subscribing to. I became very intentional about the people who I looked up to. I have had moments where it's like, I did look up to someone, and then later on, I was just like, whoa, I actually don't think I should look to you for inspiration, and that's okay. That's okay. It's revealing, it's information. However, it's like I had to give myself the time and the space to learn, to grow, to really step out of my comfort zone and try new things. I would say a point that really like turned things for me was when I bought my first pair of heels. So it was maybe about three or so years ago, 3.5 or so years ago. I just thought to myself, it's like, I don't know if this is something that I would ever wear, but it's just like I would see other people in them and I'm just like, wow, they look so good. It's like there's just something about the energy, just like seeing someone else in a pair of just like really beautiful block heels, you
Mm-hmm.
know. It's like I love it. I love it. Love the boots. There were specific shapes that I was really like into as well. Like I love a chunky heel. I just think that there's something so classic. It's very shapely. And I love geometry. I love shapes. I love, especially like coming from a graphic design perspective, I love things that are graphical, very bold. And so I was doing some online shopping and I found a pair. They were in my size. And I was just like, these look really nice.
Mm-hmm.
I've never walked in them. I've never walked in heels before. So I was just like, but I mean, I could learn. And so I placed an order. They were silver and they had like a square toe and had a black, like block heel, chunky heel. And they came in the mail. I put them on. It felt really weird at first, but I watched a couple of YouTube videos and practiced in my apartment. And I was just like, every step, like the first time I put him on, I stood in front of my mirror and I was just like, I was like, girl.
Eating.
I was like, we look good. And then it's like, I started walking in them and I'm just like, is this what it feels like? I was like, because I feel pretty powerful right now.
You're like,
I feel, and it's
it's like.
right. It's like I feel very tall. It's like I'm
Mm-hmm.
already tall. I feel even taller. And what a vibe that like I felt good. I felt
Yeah.
really good.
This is why women suffer with heels, because we just feel powerful, even though we're in pain. We're powerfully in pain, and I
I'm
wouldn't
just
trade
like, you know, tall.
it.
I'm here for it. It's just there's just something so like elevating
Mm-hmm.
about it. There's really not even that much, I guess, about like height. It's just about like the feeling. Like there's
Mm-hmm.
just a powerful feeling that you get, that you have. And I love that. And it's
Mm-hmm.
just like, and it's like anything that I wear, I have to love it. If I don't love it, if it doesn't give me a feeling, I don't want it. You
Mm-hmm.
know, if I fall in love with something, I will, you know, give it to someone else to live their life in. I've had my time with it. Someone else can have their time with it. But it's like getting those heels, I feel like was a, a point of change for myself. And it's like, I wore them out. That next day, I wore them out. I went to a restaurant that had like recently opened up. And, this was also around the time that I got my multicolor Tory Burch, the quilted one.
Yes.
No, you know which one I'm talking about.
Yes, I know her.
Yep, I got a bonus at work. That's what I used it for.
Love it.
And it's just like no regrets. I wore that. I had like a light blue sweater vest, white pants, and I had the silver heels. I looked at myself in the mirror and I was just like,
the silver heels?
Uh-huh.
Those were the first pair? Oh my god!
Uh-huh. Those were the ones. Those are the very first ones.
Classic.
Those are the very first ones. And it's just I looked in the mirror and I was just like, wow, like I didn't know I could look like this. But it's like I never would have experienced that if I just wasn't open to it. I had to be open to the idea, and it's like it made me uncomfortable, but it was just like, again, it's one of those things like, I'm uncomfortable with this. Maybe I should just give it a try. I can always send it back if it's not something that I enjoy. But I was just like, I'm gonna try it and just see what's up. And I'm really glad that I did. Because like, I mean, since then, as you've seen my closet, it's like about half of it is shoes, and they're all heels.
They're all heels. Not one flat.
Not one flat, and it's just like I want to feel something. For me, I would say it's definitely not putting up an image for other people. Never. Yeah. I do not put up an image for other people. Yeah. I give myself a look for myself. I just do. It's like I want to leave my apartment feeling great. And a lot of the times, me putting something on, it elevates my mood, it elevates my vibe. And I want to carry that energy with me everywhere that I go. I want to feel rooted. And I feel like the clothes are most definitely an enhancement for me. It's like I've come to learn more about who I am, and I've just become way more confident in who I am as a person. And it's like the clothes for me are an enhancement to that. They are showing to the world who I am choosing to be and who I am just going to be, who I dare to be, period. There's no shaking me, And so it's like these heels, I'm stomping. And what's funny too is that, like, people know when I'm coming.
They do. Okay, they do.
People know when I am walking down the hallway. I have a rhythm.
You do.
And it's like it wasn't really something that I realized until like people called it out. They're like, I knew that was you coming because I heard the rhythm. You have a rhythm, and I was like,
you do. Right? You literally have like a single pace that you walk all the time. All the time. It is so funny. You hear the clack, clack. Like, oh, here you come.
Yep.
It's so funny. Like you never go quicker. You never go slower. It's always just the same beat, and I love it.
And it's just natural. And I think also too, it's like that comes with just allowing yourself to discover more of who you are.
Yeah.
It does. It has an effect on you physically. It has an effect on how you walk, how you hold yourself up. It has an effect on all of these things that you might not think of that are so minute. But it's like people see it and then they're like, you have a great walk. And I'm like, that's not something I was thinking about, but thank you. And then I'm like,
right.
I guess I do have I have a different pep in my step.
You do.
These days.
And look, don't be ashamed of it. Right? Don't be ashamed.
No, never. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. And again, it's like these are all things where it's like it's that type of validation. I'm just like, I receive it. I receive it, and then it's like, I observe more for myself. I'm just like, yeah, I got that.
Yeah, you got that. And do. And I love that. And honestly, your style just speaks for itself. And that is why everyone just needs to hire me. No, but everyone needs to like invest in invest in their style and be truly intentional about it, because it really does change how you show up
Yeah.
on a day to day, whether that's at your job, in your business, and it also gives it also sends other people a message too of who you truly are, what you represent, and honestly, if you really care about yourself and your appearance, because if you care about yourself and how you show up, then you're going to care about your client and the work that you do for them.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm still on my little style journey as well. Like the style that I have in my closet right now, she's in the middle of a revamp because even she doesn't represent who Diamond is and is becoming, right? Diamond wants colorful, crazy shapes and patterns, and like you're gonna see me from miles and miles and miles away, like that type of vibe, right?
Cannot be missed.
You
Cannot
be missing. If you try to miss me, you're lying and you're a hater because I know you see me.
That part. It's like, oh, thanks for letting us know how insecure you are. That part. It's just like, yeah, I don't know her. I didn't see her.
You didn't see me. That is so funny, but I love all of that. So y'all invest in your style and stop playing with me, okay? And if you don't want to do it yourself, you know where to find me. So so with that being said, let's just go into the work you've been doing. So for those of y'all that don't know or don't remember, Marky Mark has something, called a magazine, right? And he has his own magazine called Done. And he is currently in the process, taking his sweet time, working on Done issue 3. I say sweet time because I'm in it. I'm just like, I need you to like hurry up, but like don't hurry up. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's sweet time, right? Because he's like very much he's really great at his craft, right? And so let's talk about it. Let's go into it a little bit. So can you give us just like a little sneak peek of what to expect, and if you have like a projected date of when we can expect it to drop, or a season? You don't have to give us a date. You can just give us a season.
I would say you can expect issue 3 to be coming out either spring or summer.
I'm excited.
It has been in the works for some time now, and I'm actually very glad that it has taken the time that it needed to manifest to what it has become. I'm always proud of the people that I get to work with. I'm always proud of the beautiful work that gets created for each release. This one specifically, I am so proud of because the people that I have brought in to this publication who have been very generous and very kind to be able to voice themselves and to share their stories in this next issue are just some of the most inspirational people that I myself have met, and then I have learned so much from them, and it is very rewarding to be able to take their stories and then create a beautiful book that is inspired by their words. And because this next issue, it has all of these amazing stories in it and beautiful imagery and illustration. To be honest, it led me to redesign the publication. So I have redesigned the magazine to, I would say, better reflect the brand and where I would love for it to go. To me, it just feels it's refreshing to see how the new design language, like the new typography, the new like visual language, how we're going to work with color and everything. It's super exciting to see how that just works so well with the stories. And even for me, it's like as the founder, like as the editor of this magazine, I have grown a ton since issue 2 has been released. And for me, it's just like I really want the publication to reflect all of the growth, the evolution that not just not just myself has experienced, but so has everyone else that is a part of the magazine. It definitely still has its rebellious nature to
Mm-hmm.
it. Still very much a visual protest is what I like to call it. I just feel that this next issue is going to be something super, super special. And so it definitely has taken the time that it needed to take. And
Mm-hmm.
I think that, I mean, at this point, it's just a matter of time, before this publication really starts to take off. I'm
It's
definitely
a
still
matter of
in like the baby stages with it.
time.
And
Mm-hmm.
it's like, I'm happy to take the time that it needs in these baby stages to
Mm-hmm.
just figure out more of like what the identity really needs to be, for the brand. And it's like I actually have been getting in the habit of referring to it less as just a magazine or as a publication and more as a brand, because it is still a publication. On top of that, it's like I would love for it to be a publication, but then just be something bigger than that.
Mm-hmm.
It's like it's a house. Other than being an online and a print magazine, it's something bigger than that.
I'm speechless. I'm so excited for this release. I
Me
am.
too.
I'm super excited to see how it all comes together. I'm mainly excited to see myself, but I'm excited to see everything else too, of course.
Listen,
Um,
listen. Not going to reveal too much information there, but Diamond is in the next release, so.
I should also motivate y'all to go buy several. I'm just saying. But yeah, that is super exciting. I'm looking forward to it. And
Yeah.
so, as we just slowly wrap up, let's leave the girls with just a little bit something to take home and to think about.
Yeah.
So, what would be 3 pieces of advice that you would leave for creators who are just simply struggling to either find their purpose or their style?
I would say when you are starting your own business, I mean, it's like whether you are working a 9 to 5 now, or it's like you are looking to just be your own entity. You want to have an entity plus work a 9 to 5. Just understand that when you go the route of starting your own business, starting your own company, that there will be a lot of things to navigate. However, keep with it, keep it moving. And
Hmm.
it's like when I say keep it moving, that doesn't mean like you don't stop and like take a break or like take space when you need to. However, it's just like don't hold yourself back. Just like find ways to get to the next step, get to the
Hmm.
next level. It's like if you do something small, you know, um, that's great. Just try to find a way to keep yourself moving forward. Forward motion
Hmm.
is going to get you places faster than, just being overwhelmed and then you start to procrastinate.
Hmm.
Like a lot of the times as creative people, we think of everything at once. And
Yes.
sometimes not even just that, sometimes things hit us all at once.
Woo.
Um, and then it's really hard to just try to figure like, like where do I go? What do I start with?
Hmm.
Just start somewhere. It's like take a step back, take a breath, and just find a way to keep it moving. Let yourself have that forward motion. For two, I'm gonna make it more about like finances. Make sure that you do your homework first before you give a number. And when I say homework, I'm not just saying, research online and see what everyone else is charging or see what, you're like in your certain city, this is how much is being paid or blah, blah, blah. Yes, do that. Definitely do that. That is really, really good, like data to know for yourself. But also understand that you as a business owner, as your own entity, you make your own rules.
Yeah.
You make your own decisions. And so when you are also doing your homework, make sure that you are factoring in literally everything that you need to be able to properly bill. What does that mean? That means taking into consideration your subscriptions. If you have creative subscriptions, taking into consideration the amount of time it's going to take you to pull inspiration. If you're pulling inspiration from books, from magazines, if you're pulling from Instagram, or if you're pulling from Pinterest, or you're pulling from the dark web, I don't know.
Not the dark web.
just make sure that you are considering everything that you would want to make sure that you put out something that you're happy with, that actually feels good. You know, it's like, you don't want to put out something and be like, ugh, I should have charged more. Or it's like you're putting out something because you feel afraid that they're going to say no. You know, I understand it's like there are certain situations where things come up and we're just like, oh, I really need the money. Or oh, like I really need this opportunity. Just try not to act out of desperation. Still, even in those moments, if you really are needing something, it's like you still want to make sure that you are putting out something that you feel is actually going to compensate you properly and fairly. And it's like, keep in mind, you don't just need to pay your bills. Let yourself have a lifestyle. Let yourself have a lifestyle. You make your own rules, and keep in mind having a lifestyle for yourself. And then number 3, I'll make it about style. I would say understand the difference between fashion and style. Fashion and style are different things. Me personally, I have chosen to go more of the route of style, because what I love about it is that it's tied so much to psychology. It's tied so much to sociology. It's tied so much to the decisions in which we make. It's tied so much, it can be tied so much to identity as well. And I would say understand the difference between both, and that can really help you figure out more of what you may be wanting to aspire to or grow towards. Especially if you are looking to, you know, upgrade your wardrobe, or if you are looking to just kind of define more, like, for yourself, what you want to be known for, or how you want to be seen, how you want to visualize yourself to the world. For me, it's like whenever I get up in the morning, putting an outfit together is my first creative opportunity. And so I love seeing it in that way, because I know that sometimes it's like, we're like, what am I going to wear today? You know, it can be a drag to just try to figure out, like, do I want this green or this green? Or do I just want to be in my comfy sweatpants? And it's just like, even if you want to be in your comfy sweatpants, or you want to be in your high-waisted, pleated palazzo pants, it's just like, either or, you still can show and visualize exactly who you are with both of those, knowing just like who you are as a person, and then understanding just like what your preferences are, and like what your actual like style is. But it's like, it's hard to figure that out when you don't know the difference between fashion or style. And so I would recommend just kind of like researching into both, and then seeing like, who do you want to be? Who would you want to choose to be? And then, taking all of that research, all the information, and then applying that to your choice of dress.
Period. That's it, y'all. Take it and run with it, because that's how you're gonna get.
Take and run with it.
So good. Oh my gosh. Thank you, Mark, for coming back again to
Thank you.
season 2. Season 2. And I appreciate you so much, and I appreciate our friendship so much. And tell the people where they can find you.
Y'all can find me on Instagram at Mark Baker-Sanchez. I am on there posting daily editorial design. That's something that I'm going to be doing for the rest of the year. It's just a way to keep me challenged. It, keeps my creative juices flowing. I love publication design. So if you check me out on there, you'll be seeing lots of layouts every day. If that's something that you love and that you enjoy, a lot of it is focused on style and beauty as well. You can also find me on LinkedIn under the name Mark Baker-Sanchez. I'll pop up. Find me on my website, markbakersanchez.design. Everything is Mark Baker-Sanchez.
If you Google it and you'll find everything.
Google Mark Baker-Sanchez, and I'll pop up in a lot of different places. But if you want to see like where I'm really active, it's gonna mostly be Instagram and LinkedIn.
Love it.
Yeah.
Love it. Guys,
and then also you guys can find the magazine too. You can find the magazine on Instagram at Done, the magazine.
Period. That's it. Love it. Follow him, blow up his comments, all that good stuff. Mark, again, thank you for being here. Appreciate you so much. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. It was so rich, so full of goodness, and honestly, you might see him again. He just a repeat.
I'll be back, and thank you for making time.
Always have time for you.